I'm so high, gravity can't hold me down. Imagine faith and hope so alive. You got me feeling so good, 'cause baby you're like the sun flying high on a blue sky, shining bright into the night. The stars sparkling down, yeah, diamonds and gold can't compare to your world. It's somewhere far beyond heaven and earth. When I hold you, I'm high above the clouds. Yeah, I'm so free that I don't think I'm ever coming down. Imagine faith and hope so alive. You got me feeling so good, 'cause baby you're like the sun flying high on a blue sky, shining bright into the night. The stars sparkling down, yeah, diamonds and gold can't compare to your world. It's somewhere far beyond heaven and earth. Oh baby, you're like the sun flying high on a blue sky, shining bright into the night. The stars sparkling down, yeah, diamonds and gold can't compare to your world. It's somewhere far beyond heaven and earth.
Welcome to Me, Myself, and Liberty. I'm Leslie Nesmith, and today is 9/11. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I want to start out by saying congratulations to the OCA Eagles on a big win over Crooked Oak this past Friday. This is my son, actually two of my sons. The tall one there is my 15-year-old, and the little guy, who's not actually a little guy, he's also big. He's my oldest son. He's 26. That's Abel. So Dylan and Abel. I'd also like to recognize my nephew Jimmy. He's actually in North Carolina. He is playing football this year. So I just wanted to take a second and acknowledge him and say, go Jimmy. Also, another recognition is for this lovely lady. You have seen her on my show before. This is the beautiful Gracie Gerwich. She is competing as we speak in the Miss Lee County, I think it might even be Lee County Fair, pageant. This is a big deal. She has done this every year, and she's an aspiring actress and model, and she's awesome. So if you're looking for some talent, she's got the talent for you. All right, so today on our show, I'm going to have Dawn Spencer, the president of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, and we're going to be talking about, whatever's been in the news lately with the Second Amendment issues. And now we're going to take a few minutes and remember 9/11. I was talking to my husband about this. And if you were alive, if you're old enough and remember that day, you remember precisely where you were. You may not remember the day before or who you were with or what you were doing, but the moment this happened, you know exactly where you were. So we will never forget, and it is our responsibility to make sure the next generation knows the truth, because they are certainly... the media out there is glossing it over. So we need to keep the truth in front of the next generation. So we're going to start off by watching video.
We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, two of them. Jules, this is Ryan. Lives on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well, and it's not looking good, I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. Go have a good time. same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you, and I'll see you later, Dexter. Bye, babe.
What are those people gonna do? All the elevators are blocked out.
Oh my God, so both towers are now.
Okay, I got an aircraft 6 miles east of the White House.
Crystal City, just north of Crystal City.
Just to the north of your town.
Yeah, stop all departures.
Pentagon just got hit. No for CNN. God damn it, I can't even protect my NCA.
United 93, that traffic for you is 1 o'clock, 12 miles eastbound 370.
Negative contact, we're looking, United 93.
United 93, Cleveland, if you hear the center ident.
Загадка 32, и примерник сидит, you have the ball board.
Welcome back to Me, Myself, and Liberty. As you can see, I have Don Spencer with the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association with me. Welcome, Don.
Welcome.
Yeah. All right. So, do you know where you were on 9/11?
Yes. For me, it's just as clear as the day it happened. I was working for a company that makes valves to the oil and gas industry, and a supervisor, walked out into the shop and said their plane had just hit the Twin Tower, or hit one of the towers. And I said, well, was it on purpose? And he goes, well, my wife was just telling me what it is. I don't know. And then he came back out, 40 minutes later, said the second tower was just hit, and that's when I knew this was for real. It was no accident. And then they turned every TV on they could and let us watch what we could during breaks and lunch. And you're sitting there and you're watching what happened in Pennsylvania and the Pentagon, and so it was definitely a day that shaped. We have to be prepared to defend ourselves. Even on the big scale, on the little scale, you have to be ready to defend yourself.
Yeah, and it's not some people did something,
Oh,
God, that just burns me up when I see that woman. Okay, so did 9/11 affect or shape your view of the Second Amendment or reinforce it in any way?
Oh, it totally reinforced it because, like I say, in fact, actually, I'm going to go ahead and be a critic of President Bush.
Okay.
The first thing they do is they take the pocket knife that I used to carry when I flew on a plane. They took that away from me. And so how am I supposed to defend myself on an aircraft when they can't even keep the knives off the bad guys?
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, that needs to be completely turned around. A person should be able to put a pocket knife in their pocket for the act of self-defense on an aircraft, period.
Yeah.
That should have never changed. So actually, that's one of the very few things I'll default President Bush on with the whole thing of it. But yeah, it reaffirmed that, no matter where you are, you need to be prepared to defend yourself and what to do. I mean, I even paid close attention to, okay, so if I can't take a knife, what can I take?
Yeah.
Well, how can you use your belt?
That's exactly
how
what
can you
I
do these other
did.
things too, in case you've got to keep someone from taking that plane down or doing something crazy with it. So yeah, it rolled it into reaffirmed what we just got to be prepared.
I remember during that time, I used to fly all the time. And, right after that, a lot of flights, things slowed down for that industry for a while. But I just remember getting on a plane and always having my, as rigid as I could find, ink pen,
Right.
there's something in my hand
Right.
that, if I needed it. And the world changed that day.
Right.
So.
Well, in self-defense, I learned very quickly, even just by watching videos, how to defend yourself using your own belt.
Yeah.
And if you have to choke someone, how you do it, how you have to stop someone that's stabbing you. I made that, and it's, folks, it doesn't take that long, and you don't have to have it practiced, at least you've got an idea that you have a defense instead of being a sheep and just waiting for an aircraft to go into a building.
Yeah. So, and I know we're going to get into a lot of this, but that just was reminding me how people are so concerned about, with the Second Amendment or with open carry or permitless carry, how the bad guys are going to have access to guns. We had terrorists hijack airplanes
Right.
who took flight lessons in the United States.
Right.
And I hope that the kids out there, if you weren't old enough to remember this, please go back and get credible information on this. They actually took lessons on how to fly inside of the United States and didn't learn how to land the plane.
Right.
That's actual fact.
Right.
That happened on our watch.
And the other amazing thing about it too, which concerns me about our government, by that night they had 19 of the hijackers' pictures up on the screen.
Yep, they knew who they were. This is the problem. The laws are there. The structure is there. Just like the Second Amendment, we have the ability to defend ourselves in the Constitution. That's a right of ours. The mental illness issue, I know that we'll probably talk about that too. It's crazy. This nonsense.
Well,
this is where we've come.
Well, and also now we look in hindsight again back to President Bush. My few criticisms: the Patriot Act was not a Patriot Act.
No,
it's come back to haunt us, and it's embedded, and it's not going to go away. Your Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights just are almost virtually obliterated.
Oh yeah, it's true. Okay, so you were on a program this week. And
more than one.
You were on more than one program, but see, he's on my program today.
That's right.
Because,
Save the best for last.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to watch a video clip of that. We're actually going to watch a few video clips of that, and we'll start the conversation.
Okay.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Talk to me a bit about this referendum petition. What it was designed to do was to gather enough signatures to put on the ballot, to put the vote of the people, whether or not there should be permitless carry. And I say permitless carry because it's not really constitutional carry. Technically, it's not permitless carry, it's license-free carry because we have a license here, not a permit. But for the sake of not confusing too many people, it's permitless carry.
I'm confused.
They wanted to override this.
I'm already
exactly.
confused.
They wanted to override this. Talk to me a bit about what permitless carry is and what the effort was to override it.
Well, for starters, I would say it was more of a political stunt than trying to actually get something accomplished that would be useful for the people of Oklahoma. What was done was that they filed a referendum stating that you would be able to carry firearms on a college campus. They stated that a police officer would be required by law to ask you if you had a gun. And there were 4 other points on there that were not accurate or misleading in some sort of fashion. So we filed a protest against the referendum just because it's misleading the information for a person when they're gathering the signatures. And I know this myself personally because I went to the zoo where signatures were being taken, and I let them tell me without me having to ask what it all consisted of. And like I said, they misrepresented it to me. Nice ladies. I'm sure they were just intentionally misinformed on what to say and do. So it starts at the top with the people that filed the referendum. They misstated what it was, and so we filed our protest, and the rest has become history. Looks like they didn't get enough signatures to begin with.
Tuesday, 9:47 a.m.
Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
Number 56865. We have I believe it is a Boeing 757. Can you see him up there, sir?
That's confirmed. It looks like he's rocking his wings.
Roger.
He's rocking back and forth.
Number 56865, I advise you stay away from that aircraft. Go north as fast as you can.
United 9-3, have you got information on that yet?
Yeah, he's down.
He's down?
Yes.
When did he land?
He did not land.
Oh, he's down?
Yes,
Down?
somewhere up northeast of Camp David.
Honestly, I just wanted to let you know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York. There's lots of smoke, and I just wanted you to know that I love you always.
At number 2 World Trade Center, right. Lady was shooting in the office. We're not ready to die, but it's getting bad.
I'm on the 83rd floor. I'm gonna die, aren't I? No. I'm gonna die.
Liv, say your prayers.
God.
We're gonna think positive because you gotta help each other get off the floor.
I'm
Now.
gonna die.
A new type of war. That's what it is.
To Me, Myself, and Liberty. And as you can see, Dawn Spencer is still with me.
She hasn't scared me off yet.
I'm going to try here in just a minute. Okay, so we'll pick up where we left off,
Sure.
talking about the this
referendum.
nonsense.
Well, the
That's what I call it.
referendum, they were very misleading. It's called the gist, and they were making a statement in there that it said that a person with constitutional carry would be able to carry on a college campus. Now, I would love for that to happen, but the bill simply does not say that. In fact, we made sure we went out of our way to make sure it didn't say that, and even worked with higher ed and added a couple things in there that they wanted, which didn't really change anything to the self-defense law, other than you still have to have permission from the president before you can carry a weapon on the campus, which we both know is highly unlikely to ever happen. That was one of the things. And then they said that a police officer would be required to ask every person if they have a firearm, which is just nuts how they put that in there. And then also our third part of our gist is that they said that we were being discriminative against illegal aliens because illegal aliens, if they're caught with a firearm, could be arrested. Well, the thing is, we just completely copied federal law and put that in there because there was some law enforcement agencies said, it'd be nice if this was in there. We thought, if that's all it takes to make them happy, you shove it in there because it's just a repeat of. And this happens a lot.
Well, if an illegal alien has a gun, they should be arrested.
They're already a criminal. That is correct in here. So that's some of the stuff that they said. Well, and so we filed our protest, which is right here. Folks, by the way, you wonder what it takes to get things ready. We worked diligently to get this going and have it filed by the date. So the fact that we would have a prepared comeback for the misrepresentation on how they gathered signatures. Folks, if we took a vote for constitutional carry, it would pass.
Yeah.
But there's no need for it. That's why we have a representative republic, and that's what takes place. What they filed is completely legal. It's a referendum. Our protest to it is completely legal. Now, they're wanting, and I haven't even got to on this, in their new paperwork that they were required to return to the Supreme Court, they had to state that if they had enough signatures or not. And they very reluctantly had to admit that, well, we've got somewhere between 30 and 50,000, and they needed basically 60,000. So I'm thinking they probably don't even have that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. So all this other stuff is kind of moot, except for the fact that, believe it or not, in their protest back to ours, they want us to pay for their attorney's fees. So, where it says right here, Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite, Oklahoma Political Action Committee, and all these other names I know you can't see, are all legislators. There's over 3 dozen legislators that signed on to protect and defend your rights. So that's what's going on as far as this garbage, and like I say, this term that they use here, and I just direct democracy petitioners. This is the snowflake equivalent of attorneys coming into the world today.
Yeah.
They did something, we did something, and we don't like them protesting us, so we're upset, so they need to pay for it. This is the type of stuff that we're dealing with. And I appreciate you guys coming on board with us with OK2A. We spearheaded this because it's our issue.
Yeah.
Point blank. And like I say, I want to thank Kevin Calvey and Robert Robles, who are the two main attorneys we've dealt with, and we've dealt with probably half a dozen to make this thing go forward. And we're going to defend your rights. It's not a matter of convenience. It's not convenient to be doing this. It's stupid to have to do this. But the thing is, it's out-of-state money that's driving this.
Yeah.
And they'll say, oh, no, we're grassroots. No, they're AstroTurf, because we saw last year that they ran a full-page ad in the Daily Oklahoman against constitutional carry.
Yeah, this issue here, that should burn the people out there.
I'm not
whether you're Republican or Democrat, if there's someone an outside influence trying to affect our elections or our politics in the state of Oklahoma,
our laws.
Yeah, think about that. There's something really, really wrong with that.
Right.
And you keep making reference to this direct democracy petition. So how many legislators signed on to this?
It was 39, basically, is what my count is.
So 39. And Don, were those 39 people elected by the people of Oklahoma?
Not only elected, I want to brag on them, and also the Speaker of the House, because I collected those names within hours. Within hours, we got all those names, because we want to make sure we had everything put together before I ask anyone to put their name on it. And so we sent it out to as many as we could. We didn't get everybody. People have vacations and stuff. It's just, and there's more people that wanted to jump on. But within hours, that's how much cooperation we have with the state legislature, which should have already been pretty well set, because constitutional carry went through in the same month it was introduced and heard. So if you like liberty, and I'm kind of into that.
Yeah.
If you like liberty, you're looking at one of the super duper groups that's making sure this has happened. Like I said, I'm glad you guys are on board with us on the Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite and OPAC. And like I say, folks, they want to take your guns. They want to take your guns. This is just an interim step, but they want to take your guns.
And we talked about this when you were on my show last time about why is it that they want to take our guns? And one, they'll say, oh, we don't want to take your guns. We are Second Amendment people, just like the next guy.
Common sense.
It's like the person, you hear the people that say, I'm not racist. I have a friend who's black. That's exactly like the same thing that they do.
Right.
They say, oh, I don't want to take away I like the Second Amendment. I have a gun.
But.
Really? So you don't want to take away the Second Amendment? No, you do want to. That's
Here,
exactly
let's
what
line
they
up
want
like
to do.
this. We need people in this district or whatever to say, you know what, we need to take away women's right to vote. Let's all do that. Let's take away 18-year-olds' right to vote. Let's take all that away. Let's take away free speech.
Yeah.
There's no reason we should have to get a license and pay cash money and get permission from the government before we can speak freely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the context that this is in.
Yeah.
And because Oklahoma, which was founded on progressive liberalism in 1907, we're finally getting our rights back in the right direction in this state, even though we don't have them all back yet. We still got a ways to go. This is the pushback. And like I said, they got the big out-of-state money coming in. And I'll say, I spoke with, in the halls of the state capitol, lobbyists they flew in from Florida, and also the lobbyists that they hired from Oklahoma to come in to try to knock down constitutional carry. So don't tell me that this is grassroots. OK2A is grassroots because we've never hired a lobbyist.
Yeah.
Never have. Never have. We may someday, but we never have, because we know how important this is to keep this freight train moving forward.
Yeah, and that whole thing it's so frustrating because they are trying to influence everything. This Kinderhorn race.
Well, what they think is the chink in the armor. Hey, we got a Democrat in that totally red Trump state. We can continue to break this, and that's why they're pushing Oklahoma. They haven't tried this in any other state. There's been no referendum petition to take out constitutional carry after it's been installed by a state government.
Yeah. So that is why it is so incredibly important that
Right.
we unseat Kendra Horn.
Right. Well, not just that. It's important that we make sure we take care of our own backyard and we support groups like OK2A,
Yes.
Taxpayers Unite, and Conservative Political Action Committee who keep an eye on this and try to keep you informed on what's going on.
Yeah. I hope and pray, you know, I do everything I can where my kids are concerned to educate them, because that is the future. You know, I showed some images of my, you know, son at the beginning. Their football team won, yay, Friday. He's 15. He'll be voting in a few years. And I'm confident that he's going to vote the right way and do the right thing and have conservative values. But I don't have that confidence in so many because of what they're being fed, what they're being taught in schools, what they're seeing on TV. They're believing it.
But educating kids to take the very rights away to protect their life.
Yeah, well,
absolutely
it's just
insane.
foolish.
Absolutely insane.
Okay, so we're going to take another quick break, and we will be right back.
Hey everybody, Todd Tucker here. Are you tired of Big Mobile making deals with dirty DC politicians to amplify liberals and silence conservatives like you? Do you want the same quality of service that you get from your current provider without supporting leftist, anti-American subversives like Kendra Horn and Nancy Pelosi? Well, Patriot Mobile can help you, and they can make a great deal. Ask what Patriot Mobile can do for you, and ask what Patriot Mobile can do for your country. Call Patriot Mobile today at 877-367-7524. 877-367-7524. Be a patriot. Join Patriot Mobile.
To do something. So from your viewpoint, okay, you're a strong Second Amendment guy. What can be done for people like these moms that are concerned and moms that are losing kids in these mass shootings? What can finally be done?
Well, I think the first problem in our failure is government let us into this problem and expecting them to fix it is just never going to happen. What needs to happen is a change of the heart. I carry a firearm, other people carry firearms every day and do not commit crimes. It's the direction of the heart. So when you have people being raised on social media or on electronic devices, and they're separated from just human contact, and then what human contact they have, because they might be a little bit different, they're bullied and so on, and all these things manifest into what we have been seeing as terrible events.
Welcome back. Okay, so what about that? You know, this whole, obviously you know how I feel about it, that taking guns away and blah, 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 that's not going to stop mass shootings. And there's this misconception out there that there's so many more mass shootings or shootings now than there were, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's just not a correct statement. But so what about what they're saying as far as the concern of mass shootings? And
well, it is a concern. There's two things that's going to help solve and reduce. One, like I said in there's got to be a change of the heart. We've got children that are being raised by technology instead of parents, and that they might be just a little bit different, so then they're bullied at school, which is not supposed to happen. The schools say, well, we're against anti-bullying, but yet they participate in it. And we wonder why people become so deprived or deprivated in their mind that they need to come back and do something so heinous.
Yeah.
When Cain slew Abel, we're dealing with the exact same thing, a jealousy.
Yeah.
There's nothing changed here in man. But we need to change the heart. And also, if you might make a note of, God didn't go but blame the National Clubbing Association.
Yeah.
He asked.
God didn't ban clubs.
Exactly, didn't ban them either. That's exactly right. So that's the first part of it. The second part is we know these incidents slow down and stop the sooner the second firearm arrives.
Yeah.
The firearm that has some intent, some training, and ability. And we've also learned that sometimes that second firearm does not even need to be discharged for these things to come to a halt. Although the person, if you carry a gun, you darn sure better be ready to use it. You just don't think that you're just going to run everybody off, because that may not be the case, and you could probably just get somebody else harmed. So I think that's the two main things. I think we get into these stores that are now prohibiting the open carry of firearms, and also Walmart. They've got the right to be stupid.
Yeah.
It's their property. They have the right to be stupid. And to thinking not selling a certain handgun ammunition is going to stop someone from walking in, because I don't know of any time, I need to buy some handgun ammunition so I can shoot the store up. That's not taking place. So that's just one of their instant feel-good things on it. I will give them some credit that they've not gone a strict prohibition of firearms. They're like, okay, we know you got them, we just don't want to see them. We don't want people freaking out about it. That's their business. I mean, restaurants here in Oklahoma have done the same thing. I don't get bent out of shape because of the fact that they're not denying me a right to carry and defend myself. So I think what we'll see is, especially in Oklahoma with the timing of constitutional carry coming in, this actually doesn't completely surprise me that they were going to say, okay, no long gun or no open carry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say it surprised me, but folks, this is what happened in 1996 when we got concealed carry.
Yeah.
Them signs went up on the window, and nothing happened. 2012, open carry, them signs went up on the window.
What I don't understand is, okay, so people say, oh, well, if you're open carry, I choose to conceal. There are times that I open carry, but I choose to conceal. That's my choice. But, people say, well, the person is going to be the first target, right? So think about this. You're concerned about people open carrying, but you know who has the gun then, right? I mean, so you would rather somebody like me, I'm talking to Walmart now, I get off on this thing and I start talking, but so Walmart or these ignorant people out there, they would rather have me hiding my gun, and you don't know I have the gun, than somebody who walks in and is openly carrying their gun on their hip. We're not talking about somebody walking in with an AR.
Buying eggs, milk, bread.
Yeah.
Real terrible
I mean,
stuff.
that doesn't make any sense. I mean, what they're saying, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, we also know, there is no doubt, and criminals have been asked specifically about it, that when they see a person carrying a gun, they go elsewhere to look for a softer target.
That's exactly
right.
So
you may actually be creating the possibility of more bloodshed, because there's actually someone there to stop one of these crazies, instead of the crazy saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to go find somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because we know, Colorado, we know they'll go someplace where it's a no-gun zone.
That's exactly right.
To do their stuff.
The other thing is, and I feel like this is one of those issues that keeps coming up, but we have to make sure we educate people, because there are a lot of people who are falling into this trap that, training.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes, I'm sure you have something to talk about.
It wasn't even last week, it was this week. A lady in Midwest City, she is cleaning a house for an elderly man. Elderly man he goes and leaves for something. Meanwhile, some guys slashed her tires and is breaking in the house. She calls the elderly man. He goes, I got a gun on the back, bedroom thing. This guy breaks in. She makes it back to the bedroom with no training. With not her gun. She stops this guy with a .22 pistol. Stops him dead. So, if we listen to Moms Demand Action, it would be better for that woman to be dead, raped, robbed, beaten,
whatever they were going to do,
except for that woman didn't have training. And here, look what happened. What happened.
Here's my question to Moms Demand Action, which I hate the name of that group, because not all moms.
Moms demand some action.
Yeah. That's funny. Where was I going with that?
I'm
Darn
sorry.
it. So here's my question to Moms Demand Action. Why is it that you don't want women? Why don't you want women to have guns? Why don't you want minorities to have guns? I don't understand it. You might be the most sexist, racist group in this state. You don't trust women and minorities with guns. Why is that? And don't say it's because, we just don't trust, we don't trust anybody with guns. We just don't trust white guys with guns. No, your problem is you don't want the women having the guns. You would rather the bad guy, which most of the time, it's not that women can't be bad guys too, but who does most of the raping or killing or this or that? So you don't want the women to be able to have a gun. I want an answer to that.
Well, for starters, I want to bring it down even more simple than that. It's not the gun that's the issue here. It's liberty.
Yeah.
It's you being able to make that decision for yourself. And like I say, the woman I just described, she calls the guy. He says, well, the gun's on the next to the bedstand, blah, blah, blah. And she goes and finds it and uses it successfully. And so here's, and actually here's the other part. This will make you mad. That's going to be considered a gun violence. They consider that gun violence. No, it was an act of self-defense, but Moms Demand Action considers that gun violence. That is absolutely, and they would put that in their stats. And see, here's gun violence. We need to take guns.
That's
from
why
people.
these stats are so skewed.
Right.
And I realize that our audience is a little more educated than a lot of them out there.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. But the stats are so skewed. I mean, this
Correct.
nonsense of
well, a guy pulls up into a next to a school parking lot and commits suicide, so therefore they consider that in one of their stats.
a school shooting.
School shooting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's like anything that is, 3 or more people or something is considered a mass shooting.
But if they're stabbed, we don't care.
Yeah, or
blown up or run over with the car.
Or if that same gangster shot up 5 or 6 people on different days in Chicago, it's not a mass shooting somehow. It's like, it's just so screwed up. You're not getting my guns. Sorry.
No, not mine either.
Okay.
And you're not getting my laws for me to keep my guns either.
No, you're not.
So November 1st, constitutional carry goes into effect in Oklahoma. Yay, our side.
Yay! Okay.
Guys.
So since we're talking about that,
Okay.
I think we're still good on time here. So what does that mean? I want to make sure people understand this because we do have people who watch who are not as they're not as informed. They're just now kind of coming over to see the light.
Okay.
So let's dispel the myths that they have heard about what constitutional carry is and what it's not.
Let me just tell you the facts.
Okay.
Which you kind of like that.
Yeah, facts.
You have to be 21 years of age. You have to be able to legally purchase a firearm before you can legally carry the firearm. If you're not sure if you can legally carry a firearm, don't do it. Don't do it. You cannot carry the gun anywhere you currently could not carry now anyway. So no, you cannot carry on any type of education property facility, which would be a high school, college, secondary school, VOTEX, universities. You will not be able to carry on in those areas. Nothing changes. Don't even think about carrying a gun into a jail, prison, detention facility because you're going to get to stay a while and they'll take your picture. So those are the main things. As far as a public trust property such as the zoo, such as Scissortail Park and so on, you will be able to carry concealed on that public trust property. And you'll say, well, is that a park? There's a difference between a public trust park and a municipal park or a state park. State parks you can still carry just like you can now, a pistol, rifle, or shotgun. But folks, come November the 1st, like I say, it's a pistol, rifle, or shotgun you can carry. But we made sure that it was clarified on these public trust properties that your right to carry a handgun shall not be infringed.
Yeah. And this, okay, so we're going to take a break. And then we'll talk about, I wanted to touch on the training issue just right fast. And then I know you have some other things you want to share. Okay, we'll be right back.
Hello, basket of deplorables, ladies, gentlemen, those who are undecided. Todd Tucker back at the bunker, where I belong, And we want you to join us here at OTU Media. Become a patron, a Patreon member. If you want true conservative messaging and not the same old corporate filtered news of Oklahoma, this is the place to be. Become a supporter, a soldier, a sergeant, a co-producer, even a sponsor. True conservatism lives here at OTU Media. Go to patreon.com/OTU Media, patreon.com/OTU Media. This is where conservatism lives, and the fight is just beginning.
Welcome back. Okay, so right before the break, I was saying that I wanted to just touch on the training thing, because for the people in the audience that are kind of new to the liberty side of things, this training is it's not what you think it is. So when you go to get your handgun license currently, you're going through kind of an informational class is what it is. It's not really training. So I have a friend, and I never mention this person's name, who went to the class, who took the gun that she purchased, and the only time she's ever fired that gun is in the class. Mm-hmm. Okay? First problem. That's the only time she's ever fired the gun.
Right.
So, but the other side of that is she also doesn't carry it.
Okay.
Okay? So she, as a smart person, responsible citizen,
right,
has said, I don't have enough training to carry this gun. I can if I needed to, if I need to defend myself, if I have a stalker, if I have something going on, I can go ahead and put this in my purse or put it in my car and I can have it.
Right.
But she does not carry it on a regular basis because she has not trained. She just doesn't feel comfortable.
And I've actually had students, because I'm an instructor too, that I would work with and I said, you're doing pretty good. I think you're about ready to start carrying it. And I said, well, no, I still don't think I'm ready. I'm still going to wait. Well, that's the response of a responsible citizen, mm-hmm, is that when you're ready. And the two parts of this too is they're expecting people to be SWAT members.
Yeah.
And the fact is, this is for self-defense. We let the cops go on offense. That's what they're for. This is just the interim step until the cops can get there. And that's what we're preparing for. But like I say, no, training is always important. You can't get enough of it, but you've got to get up to a reasonable comfort level where you don't shoot your own foot and you keep your finger off your trigger till you've located your target and then until you're convinced it's time to
and you only point it at somebody
exactly,
that you're ready to kill, basically. So
there.
Yeah. So we're in agreement.
Well, probably not too much disagreement.
I was going to say. Okay. So what else is going on? So what is the next step? And I actually had a couple of audience questions too.
Okay.
I guess we could go to those. Okay.
Do that.
So your thoughts on the state fair gun ban?
Okay. That was put in 2016. We clarified language because at the time there were people that had carried out at the state fair were actually being charged with a misdemeanor. And for the peaceful carry of a gun, you should not be charged with a crime.
No.
So it was a part of also, we picked up that if you entered a public building, with the exception of the jails and the exception of the education facilities. So if you go to the library and you're carrying a gun under your shirt concealed, it's not a crime. It's against the law, but it's not a crime unless you refuse to leave. And also, you're still protected in the stand your ground law. So if you're in that same library, which is a government building, you're allowed to defend yourself because you were never denied access into it or you were never asked to leave. So the same thing with the state fair. When you go up to the state fair, currently, from what I understand, there's no persons that are wanted or go through metal detectors and like that. So once you go up and you buy your ticket, if you're carrying concealed, you're still legal. If for some reason it's discovered you have a firearm and you're told to leave. Just leave. And the thing is, this has been in since 2016, and you know how many problems that they've had? None.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And so under current law, the state fair is a public trust property, and we're going to look at some things, but if they start scanning or wanting people, we will change the law. We'll work to change the law where it's just like any other public trust property. But currently, folks, basically it won't change a thing. You're carrying concealed. You'd be required to carry concealed anyway. Go have a nice time. Do not consume any alcohol in the possession of a firearm. Don't even think about it. Don't do it. I will turn
Bad
you
idea.
in. I would turn you in. So don't be doing that. But other than that, just go have a good day, because like I say, I've been to the fair. I've walked to that car, and there's not a law enforcement officer to be seen anywhere, and you need a gun.
Yeah.
You need to be able to protect yourself.
I agree. Okay, so David asked on 11-1, does the law change pertaining to the airport with TSA?
Oh, you don't even think about at any point, any time, you're going to get a gun past TSA. No, don't even think about it. I would even discourage carrying into the airport facility upon your person. I personally have gone to the airport, check your gun in your bag, make sure it's legally stowed as by federal law, which is not that big a deal at all. Get on the plane, that's perfectly fine. But don't think you're going to be walking around that airport open carrying or strapping on a rifle and not cause a commotion at all.
You will quickly become a meme.
Exactly.
On social media.
Yeah, exactly. So
we don't need any more memes.
In fact, let me bring that up about 11-1 real quick.
Okay.
If you are going to have a group or a friend, or you decide to go down to the park and open carry your gun, call the non-emergency law enforcement and let them know you're going to be doing this. It's so new. It's so much going on. And Moms Demand Action are just desperate for you to make a big mistake, and so they can promote their agenda. And so let's stay ahead of that. Let's stay better than that. Anytime an officer comes up to you, and if you're open carrying, he says, I want your ID, provide it to him. Be respectful. There is no need for you to be hateful or ugly. Even if they start off a little pissy with you, I have seen that once they realize, oh, this is no big deal.
Yeah.
That things will go on like it should. And we need that in Oklahoma, because good guys carry guns.
That's
Period.
right. We don't want to become them. You
Correct.
know who the other side is.
Right.
They have shown who they really are now. We're not the bad guys. Don't be ugly. Don't be rude to people. Educate them.
Right. Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Okay. So will you be pushing back on red flag laws?
Well, we actually, since Senate Bill 1081 has been introduced with Senator Nathan Dahm, he used Senate staff to develop the language on it. We kind of tweaked just a little bit with it, but it will outlaw red flag laws, because there's no due process, and it outlaws it on the federal level. It even outlaws that state cannot take any money in for anyone that wants to do a red flag law. And also, people don't realize these red flag laws, in the bill last year that was introduced by Dunnington, it actually said the law enforcement can take your gun, keep your gun, destroy your gun, and you've never even stepped in front of a judge.
That is insane.
It is crazy.
The other thing is, there's not a need for it. I know people are concerned and scared and all that, but if somebody is a threat to themselves or others, you can currently, like if I have a child or a neighbor or a parent that is suicidal, who's saying, I can't take this anymore, I think I'm just going to kill myself, or I'm going to go kill somebody, you are able to turn them in anyway, currently, right?
You can turn them in anyway.
Or you can report that. I mean, I think the difference is these actions that they're saying that they would take.
Correct.
Are different.
From what I understand, they have to be the words plus the action. It cannot just be, oh, this is such a bad day, I'm going to shoot myself.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're talking about.
Exactly. It's somebody that has, they're dealing with depression, they're dealing with other things. And then currently what would happen is they would go to a mental health facility, or they'd go to a hospital, and they would be evaluated and that kind of thing. And I know somebody that this happened to.
Right.
So it actually, if somebody is truly a threat to themselves or somebody else, there's currently a process in place for that.
Well, it needs to be improved too, because
I agree.
And we can, Reagan was a great president, but this is one of the things he messed up, is that these mental institutions, where if a person was a threat to themselves or others, that's where they were put.
Yeah.
Until convinced otherwise. And now they're just put in jail. They're allowed to roam the streets and these types of things. So and look what we've done. We've got all these psychotropic drugs that are been available, and and so my bottom line is, there's some crazy people out there, and I want to be able to protect myself, and I don't have to have government to do it.
Yeah.
And you unfortunately may have to protect yourself from one
That's
of these
just it.
type of people too.
Because the
So-
crazy people aren't going to follow the laws.
Correct.
The bad guys aren't going to follow the laws.
Right.
It's us good guys that tend to follow the laws.
Right.
So, okay. So Jay Stegall said, I think you may have seen his question. Saw. How do they fit all those clowns in that little bitty car? What in the world?
There was some picture that was up. I forget what it was. Representative Stegall had. I forget what the joke
I was like, what in the world? I don't know. That's an inside joke or something,
Yeah,
but I'm asking him.
I've
Just
slept-
because,
I'm
Jay,
sorry,
you asked me to ask him,
I've
so I'm
slept since
asking.
then, so.
Okay. Leonard asked, what was the outcome of the filing of the lawsuit for being escorted out of the zoo and at Oktoberfest?
Okay, there's not been a lawsuit yet. Basically, what we did was, and we're being very careful, so we've got the noose, we can get it just as tight as we can around their neck. Both the Tulsa River Park Authority and the Oklahoma City Zoo are public trust. We got the bill passed this year to clarify you cannot be prohibited a gun. We've sent them language, or we sent them the new language. We've told them, bring your policy into compliance with state law. So basically, this is the last or else.
Okay.
So we're getting ready, but folks, I'm telling you, we're getting ready to lay into some people.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else you want to share with the
Legally.
audience before we say goodbye?
Yes, November 1st, 10 a.m., the Oklahoma State Capitol is going to be the Second Amendment rally where we are asking people to bring your pistols, rifles, shotguns. I don't want you carrying anything by hand. You got to carry it by law. It's got to be on a sling, scabbard, holster, whatever. Also, the long guns, we're going to request that they not be chambered. Not anything be chamber loaded, because the last thing we need is any kind of an accident, which will absolutely excel moms demand action and take their stuff
Yeah.
out of. But if you got a holstered pistol that you carry it that way. That's great. But folks, show up. Let's show up. We're going to have a rally, and we're going to just. In fact, here's the other thing. Let's invite every public school, every private school, every university, every college, every VOTEC to bring your students to the state capitol, and so they can see what liberty looks like.
That's right, and bring the school buses, right?
Bring the school buses, load them up. Because if you can load them up for a strike, you can load them up for liberty.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, thank you for being with us today. I know we could talk about this all day, but we can't.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I will be back in just a minute. Hi, I'm Leslie Nesmith, host of Me, Myself, and Liberty right here on OTU Media. I'd like to ask you to go to www.patreon.com/OTU Media to support us. By going to patreon.com, you are supporting everything that we do here at OTU Media and Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite. We are getting the word out, so join us.
Drives a truck. Visit cdluniversity.org. At CDL University, and another success, another one drives a truck. Hey, gonna help you too. Another one drives a truck.
Okay, thanks for joining us today. I want you to just stay with me for about a minute. Get a pen and paper, or just, I guess you can replay this later. I want to make sure that you know that the 2A rally is 11/1. So this is November 1st at the state capitol. We need to have a good representation there. So I'm hoping to see all of you there. I plan to be there also, in one of my inflammatory t-shirts, like my amosexual one maybe. Let's see here. Let Them Live. The Let Them Live rally. Dave Green for Congress is actually putting this on. This is really awesome. I'm excited about this. Star Parker is going to be there. She's going to be the speaker. If you don't know who she is, please look her up. She's amazing. And she wrote the book Uncle Sam's Plantation. I highly recommend it. Also, go to patreon.com/OTU Media. That's a way that you can support us, keep us on the air, and every dollar helps. We are fighting a battle right now. Go to my Me, Myself, and Liberty page and like it. Sometimes I forget to ask you guys to do that. I need to build my audience over there. So if you could like that and share it, that'd be super awesome. And so this is something I want to say to those of you who are running for office or thinking about running for office. Okay, so tag all your people that are running for office. So OK2A Media, we did a survey to see how our audience would respond, and so far 96% of our audience has responded, or not responded, but they have said that they are they have voted in the last election and they are currently registered to vote. Okay, so we have active voters, 96% of our audience. So if you're running for office, this is an audience you want to reach. A very conservative audience. We do have lots of Republicans, Libertarians. We do have some Democrats out there who are closeted, but that's okay. We like them too. But if you want to reach our audience, you can advertise with us. Whether you have a business, if you're running for office, and you want to reach conservatives who pay their bills and have money to donate to your campaign, you can advertise with us for as little as $100 a month. We do video production and all kinds of cool things. So if you need to get in front of a conservative audience, we can help you with that. All right, I will see you next week.
Introducing all new, safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula with 17 essential supplements. When it matters most, you've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
Greetings. Salutations. This is Moto with OK2A Media, here to tell you about the latest product on our shelves. If your boyfriend doesn't have a beard, then you have a girlfriend. Do you need a beard growth formula that's radio frequency programmed for maximum bioavailability? Then you need Bud Brothers Beard Co.'s Beard Growth Formula. Find it at the OK2A Media store at www.oklahomataxpayersunite.com/OTU-store and continue to support OK2A Media and Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite.